Hi, it's Rob from Progressive Property here, and I want to tell you the one thing that's caused Mark and I the most pain over the last 9 months. But really it's over the last 3 years, but we really didn't know until 9 months ago. We have had to pass away, or we've chosen to pass away, hundreds, and I mean hundreds of deals because they didn't work for us. Over the last 4 years, we've created and trademarked a deal scrutinizer which systemises the process of buying so that we never make a mistake in buying, and we always buy the best deals at the biggest below market value, like 28 to 47.5% below. But the thing is, if we got a deal and it was 1% out in terms of the discount, or it was £1 out in terms of the cash flow, or it was £1 out in terms of the money that it generated back into us, so it wasn't quite a no money down deal, we just bin it. We just chuck it away. And that was fine at the time, because what that means is we've bought 230, 240 properties, and they're all solid, really good fundamental investment properties that will make us a lot of money. But what about those hundreds of properties that we just binned? What happened to them? What about all the vendors who we couldn't help? What's happened to those vendors? Because I bet a lot of them have got repossessed now, and that doesn't make me feel very good. Over the last 9 months, what we've been able to do is create, find, and model strategies where we can turn every single deal into a deal, one way or another. So let me ask you a few questions, because you'll probably relate to this if you're anything like us. Have you found a deal that's 20% below, not 30 or 35? Have you gone into an agent and offered really low, like 30% below market value, and you've got nowhere? You've either been thrown out the window or you've just not heard anything back. Have you scrolled through the papers and seen properties in the papers, and they're there week after week after week, and clearly nothing's going on, yet the price isn't right for you? The same on Rightmove. Have you been given leads, bought leads, generated leads, and the deal doesn't quite stack and you just have to leave them? Well, this is where we can really help you, because you might know at the moment that lease options is it's a buzzword, it's a trend at the moment. Trends are good, and if you get in on that trend at the right time, you can make a quick buck. But the thing with trends is they come and go very quickly. So I'm going to tell you some of the benefits and some of the drawbacks of lease options. But what I want you to get from this video, the most important thing, is that essentially it's like you have a toolbox. So you open your toolbox up, there are 12 or 15 different compartments, and each tool does a different job. You wouldn't try and screw in a screw with a spanner, it wouldn't work. And the thing about our mastermind, which is different from everything else that's being taught, is we give you the full toolbox. So what I'm not going to talk to you about in this video is how to find the 35%, pull your pants down, run down the street shouting woohoo woohoo and going up and kissing random people types of deals. We cover that in the mastermind, that's previous videos, that's covered in the mastermind. What I'm not going to cover on this video is negotiation, and I'm not going to cover cash flow strategies. The cash flow strategies, you'll notice they're in the video below, so by now if you go down to the video below, you'll be able to go over some of the cash flow strategies. What I am going to cover in this video is, if you can't quite get that deal because you're new or you're building up a new relationship and you've got a leaflet and you've spoken to someone and you can't quite get the discount, I'm going to show you how to turn every deal into a deal. So let me give you some quick examples. If you get that 25 to 45% below market value deal and it cash flows, that's one for you. That's one for your long-term buy and hold strategy that'll make you money. Let's say you can only get 20%. So what are you going to do? Normally we'd have passed them on, but now you could maybe, just to give you an example, you could use an irrevocable request, you could flip it onto a first-time buyer, sell it to them at 10% below, and cut and take out the 10% in the middle. And that's one of the sections, because this video is essentially taken from one section of our Property Buying Frenzy event. And that's something that no one really knew how to do a year ago. We call it assisted selling, so you could do that. What if you only get a 10% below? Well, you might be able to find a way where you could use a sandwich option and pass that to a first-time buyer and enable them to come in a deal with no deposit and then pay you slightly above market rent and pay you the deposit over a period of time, which you can take as a fee. And that's a 10% below. What about if it's completely negative equity? A load of deals at the moment. We've just recently, over the last 6 months, started to monetize them all, cash flow them all, and buy them all or pass them on for a profit. Because there are so many people in negative equity, and they probably don't have a problem paying their mortgage, but they need to move on, and they know if they sell that, they're going to have to find 20 grand. This is where the lease options do come in, and this is where they're quite strong. So you could take an option to buy, and this is the great thing. If you don't know this already, you don't need to get a mortgage. You don't need a deposit. If your credit's shot to bits, it doesn't matter. If if you can't find any money, you just don't have any income, you don't have a job, you don't want to put any money in, it doesn't matter. You can do these, and this is quite exciting for the right deal, and that's the key. So really, we've got about 7 different buying strategies for 6 cash flow finance strategies, and it's all about mixing and matching them. Then we've got 7 joint venture strategies, and that might sound confusing, but 21 strategies, they're quite simple, it's not that complicated. But the key is, that's the 21 compartments of your toolbox. And when you just spend a day or a few days learning these strategies, then you can make every single deal cash flow for you. And I think it's exciting now that you don't have to lose a deal. So traditionally, you might have needed to take 20 hours of your time, go to 20 different estate agents. I mean, Dina Honey, someone who's just raised £500,000 of joint venture funding coming to our Property Buying Frenzy event. She went and viewed, I haven't got the exact numbers, but ask her and she'll tell you something like 15 letting agents, 15 estate agents. She viewed something like 400 properties. She put something like 300 offers in. She got 5 deals. Now, I personally think that's fantastic. You might think, well, that's a lot of work for 5 deals. The thing is, she was just using the 35% below market value strategy. Things have changed. The goalposts have moved. And this is much easier for you than it was for us back in 07 when we were just trawling the streets, trying to find the agents' secrets deals, trying to get the best deals there were, turning so many deals away. So it's all about strategy. That's what it's about in 2009. So should you do lease options? Should you come to us to learn the concept of lease options? You absolutely should. I think with lease options you could probably double the volumes that you're buying. But a word of warning to you, I don't think every deal you should buy should be a lease option, because all you're doing is getting lazy, buying every deal that's in negative equity, so you've got to wait 5 years for the growth. If it doesn't grow, you've got to exercise the option and continue it. If someone challenges that option because you haven't done the legals properly, then you could be in a mess, so you've got to do it properly. And a staple basic portfolio should consist of at least 1 in 3 of your deals that are massive 30-35% below market value deals. One of them should be a big cash flower, and one of them should be a deal that you can pass on and make, say, 10, 20 grand profit, like we did in the video below. So if you haven't watched the video below by now, make sure you go and watch the video below, because we show you a deal where we made £24,000. So I hope you got something from this video. In the next video, I'm going to talk about 9 different ways of raising cash flow so that you can create cash that you didn't have to fund deals or attract joint venture partners. So make sure you click the link below and take yourself to the next stage. Thank you.